Hi, it's Sylvester, and if you can't tell from the title, I have some opinions about Ozempic and the people who use Ozempic, and this video is probably going to be incredibly unpopular. I am not making this video because I think it's going to get a ton of views. It might, but if it does get a lot of views, it's going to get a lot of dislikes. I know, like, sometimes I'll make a video and I just know that people are going to hate it, and people are going to hate what I have to say, and people are going to hate me for saying the things that I say, and this is one of those videos. I'm probably going to be bullied into silence. I'm probably going to end up taking this video down because I am a very sensitive person, and I don't like it when a lot of people dislike me and dislike what I have to say. So yeah, I'm prepared. I'm prepared to get a lot of hate on this video, but also I'm probably going to take it down if it does get a lot of hate. So if you're watching this, then that either means this video didn't get as much hate as I think it's going to get, or I, for some reason, grew a pair of balls and decided to leave the video up even though, like, I don't know, maybe this video is going to get a lot of views and it's going to go super viral or something, and, like, even if a lot of people hate it, I'm still going to keep it up just because I like getting views. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, I've been talking for almost a minute and a half, and I've said nothing. I should get into the actual topic of the video. So, if you can't tell from looking at me, I am fat. I have been fat most of my life. You probably can tell that I'm fat, even though you can't see my full body. You can see that I have more than one chin. I am a fat person, and like I said, I've been fat most of my life. I've struggled with my weight most of my life. I've been anorexic at one point in my life. I've struggled with disordered eating. Like, I struggle with my weight. It's a thing. And I've spoken many times before on this channel in videos that probably no longer exist because I tend to delete my videos. But I've spoken a lot in the past about fat phobia and how much it bothers me that we live in such a fat phobic society. I am a very body positive person, and I think that being fat is okay. I think that there's nothing morally wrong about being fat. Like, I think that being fat does not make you a bad person. Being fat does not make you undesirable. It does not make you worthless. But we do live in a world that tells fat people that being fat is a moral failing and that being fat is one of the worst things that you can be. And that's obviously so stupid. There are so many worse things you can be than fat. You can be a racist. You could be a pedophile. You could be a sex offender. You could be a murderer. You could be, like, there's so many worse things you can be than fat. But for whatever reason, we live in a society where being fat is like one of the worst crimes that you could commit as a human being. And it's just, it sucks. Also, I'm a trans man, and so I spent most of my life thinking that I was female and thinking I was a woman. And so I have a perspective that a lot of people don't have, where I can say with certainty that it is a lot better to be fat as a man than it is to be fat as a woman, because women are told from the day they're born that their job is to be sexy and attractive. And one of the worst things a woman can do is not be considered attractive by society, and being fat is not considered attractive. So if you're a woman and you're fat, you are committing a cardinal sin by not being what society wants you to be, which is super skinny and hot, you know? And you can be fat and hot. I'm not saying that there aren't hot fat people. Like, fat is not a bad thing. Fat is not a bad thing. I want to make that perfectly clear. But that being said, as a fat person, if I had the choice to be skinny, I would choose to be skinny. And this probably is going to piss off a lot of people, because a lot of people think that fatness is a choice. And in a lot of ways it is. What I put into my body is a choice. How much food I eat is a choice. But it's not as much of a choice as you might think it is. If you're not somebody who struggles with your weight, you probably have no idea what it's like to be a fat person and to feel like it's like there are so many reasons why a person might be fat. It's not just like I don't wake up every morning and say, today I'm going to choose to be fat. You know what I mean? Like it's a choice, but it doesn't feel like it's a choice. I have a lot of hunger. I have a huge appetite, and being hungry all the time sucks. And what's one thing you can do to not be hungry? Eat. So it's like, by eating, I'm not doing it because I want to be fat. I'm not doing it because I like being fat. I'm eating because I'm hungry. I'm eating because I have an appetite. I'm eating because my body is telling me I need food, even though, obviously, by looking at me, you can tell I don't need that food. But my body thinks I do need that food, and I don't know why my body is like this, or my brain, or whatever. I don't know why I'm like this. This is just the way I am. And if you're not somebody who struggles with your weight, if you're just skinny and you've always been skinny and you have no idea what it's like to be hungry all the time, then the best way I can describe it is it's like being itchy and being told you can't scratch. Because scratching isn't going to make the itch go away. It's only a temporary solution. Scratching an itch is going to temporarily make you feel better, but it's not going to get rid of the itch. You know, just like how being hungry all the time, eating isn't going to get rid of the hunger. I'm just going to be hungry again in 30 minutes, but it's going to temporarily solve the problem. But even if I choose not to scratch, the itch is still going to be there. Even if I choose not to eat, the appetite is still going to be there. The desire to eat is still going to be there. And it sucks to be itchy all the time. And so even though I know scratching isn't healthy and scratching isn't going to fix the itch and scratching isn't the solution, I'm probably still going to scratch, because otherwise I'm just going to be itchy all the time and there's going to be no relief. At least if I scratch, there's going to be temporary relief. You know what I mean? And so I am a person who's hungry all the time, which is like being itchy all the time. And if I could take a pill that would get rid of that itch, then you can't get mad at me for scratching anymore, because I'll have no reason to scratch. You know what I mean? Like you can't, like, if somebody's itchy and they're scratching their itch and you're like, don't do that, that's bad, you're doing a bad thing by doing that, then that's annoying, because they're probably thinking, yeah, I know it's bad to scratch, like, but I'm itchy, you try being itchy all the time. So when a fat person eats and you shame them for it and you're like, you know, that's bad, you're doing a bad thing by eating, you're fat and you shouldn't be eating, you're not helping the person. It's not helping. Telling me to just put the fork down, fatty, isn't helping me, because I know I should put the fork down. I know that I should stop eating as much as I eat. I know that. I know it. It's hard because I'm hungry all the time. And so if I could take a pill that gets rid of the hunger, then again, people are not going to be yelling at me for eating, because I won't be eating, because I'll have no reason to eat, because I won't be hungry. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not explaining this very well, but I'm getting really frustrated. I'm getting really frustrated here, because people demonize Ozempic so much, and the people who take Ozempic so much, and yet being fat is considered this horrible, terrible thing. But when people do something to try to not be fat, they're demonized even more for it. And it confuses me so much. It's like, do you want people to be fat or do you not want people to be fat? It's like, well, we want people to stop being fat, but we want them to stop being fat naturally through willpower. But again, it's like being itchy all the time. No matter how much willpower you have, it sucks to be itchy all the time. And every so often you're gonna freaking scratch. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it's so frustrating. And I do understand that Ozempic was designed for people with diabetes, and people who are fat taking Ozempic. There's now this what's the word I'm looking for? God, I should edit this video, but I don't want to edit. I hate editing. There's a shortage. That's the word I'm looking for. There's a shortage of Ozempic for people who need it for diabetes because there's so many people who need it for helping with their fat problem that the people who need it for diabetes are not getting it. And I understand that that's a problem, but you shouldn't hate fat people for taking a medication that helps them not be fat anymore just because there's a shortage of the medication. What you should be demanding is more medication. Like if we need Ozempic, if there's a lot of people in the world who need Ozempic, don't get mad at people for taking Ozempic. Get mad at the manufacturers for not making enough Ozempic. You know what I mean? Like, we just get more. We need more. I know it's probably not that simple. It's probably incredibly complicated. But, prioritize people who need it for diabetes. And we should definitely be doing that. Like, we should prioritize certain people. If there are shortages, then we should make sure the people who need it for diabetes are getting it before the people who need it to cure their fatness are getting it. But like, it's not the fault of the fat people that there's just not enough of this medication. You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting so frustrated because we live in a society that tells fat people that they suck and shouldn't exist. And then when fat people try to do something about being fat and take a medication that will help them no longer be fat, then they're demonized even more and they're like hated even more for it. It's like, what the fuck do you want us to do? You want me to not be fat, but you also want me to not have an easy way of not being fat. You want me to suffer in order to not be fat. You want me to just do it through sheer willpower. If that was possible, I would have done that by now. You know what I mean? And like, I've been skinny and it's never been for healthy reasons. I've starved myself. I've been anorexic. I've been skinny because my mental health was bad. Like, there have been times in my life where I've been skinny, but it's not easy. It never came easy, and it certainly wasn't healthy the way that I did it. If I could just take a pill that makes me skinny, and if my drug plan covered it, then that would be literally perfect. I can't think of anything wrong with that. And yet, if I started taking Ozempic, everybody would hate me, and everyone would yell at me, and everyone would tell me that diabetic people are dying because of me, and like, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. We hate fat people, but we hate it even more when they do something about being fat. Like, can we just stop hating people for taking Ozempic? You know what I mean? Now, I understand that there are people out there who take Ozempic who don't need to be on Ozempic. People who are already skinny, who take Ozempic because they want to be skinnier. Like, I can see why you might have a problem with that. I can understand that. I can get that. I can kind of get behind that, because it's like, it's like, if you don't need help being skinny, then don't take a medication that helps you be skinny. You know what I mean? Like, I get that. It's unnecessary. It's promoting unhealthy body sizes. Like, it's people who are like, I see a lot of people accusing Ariana Grande of being on Ozempic, and I don't think that she is. I don't know for a fact, but as far as I can tell, there's no proof that she is on Ozempic, but a lot of people think she is because she's really, really skinny, and she's gotten a lot skinnier, and people she got skinnier around the time when Ozempic started to be like a big thing. So I can understand why people accuse her of being on Ozempic. And if she was on Ozempic, then I would understand why people would have a problem with that, because Ariana Grande does not need to be on Ozempic. You know what I mean? Like, it's a skinny pill taken by a person who's already skinny. It's unnecessary. And I totally understand why people would have a problem with that. But at the same time, I don't know Ariana Grande's life. I don't know her story. I don't know her struggles. Maybe being skinny is really difficult for her. Maybe she doesn't, maybe she is starving herself or something in order to be the size that she is. And like, I'm not saying that she is. Again, I don't know her life. I don't know her story. But, maybe she genuinely feels like she needs to be on Ozempic. And who am I to tell her that, who am I to tell her that she's wrong? I'm not here. I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to tell anybody what they can and can't put into their bodies. Do what you want with your body, your choice. If Ariana Grande is on Ozempic, then that's not hurting me in any way. It's literally not hurting me in any way. So like, why should I care if Ariana Grande is on Ozempic? You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if Ariana Grande is on Ozempic. The only problem is that she's so skinny that it like perpetuates the idea that people need to be skinny in order to be valuable. It's like promoting an unhealthy body type. But I've made a video, multiple videos, I think, defending Eugenia Cooney because, like, I don't think skinny people should be persecuted for being skinny any more than I think fat people should be persecuted for being fat. You know what I mean? Like, your body, your choice. You do what you want with your body. It's not hurting me in any way. And, like, you do you. And, like, people who say that Ozempic is unnecessary for fat people are the same people who are going on and on about how fatness is killing people. Like, we consider fatness to be an epidemic, and yet when there's a cure for that epidemic, we say it's evil and bad. Like, there are a lot of health risks associated with being fat, and I'm perfectly aware of that. Every fat person is, pretty much. Like, you're not telling anyone anything new if you go up to a fat person and tell them that they're gonna, get heart disease by being fat, or that they're gonna get diabetes by being fat, or that they're, potentially gonna have knee pain when they're older, or fat people, we're aware of this. We know the health risks associated with being fat. So if I could take a pill that will not only make me look a certain way, which is, I want to be skinny because I live in a world that tells me that being skinny is hot and nice and good. And, as much as I am body positive, I do want to be skinny because I just like how I look when I'm skinnier. I think I look hotter when I'm skinnier. And if we lived in a world where I was told that fat is okay and that being fat is hot, then maybe that wouldn't be the case. But I live in a world where I've been told since I was born that I'm unattractive because I'm fat. And so I want to be skinny for vanity reasons, but also it would be good for my health if I were to take Ozempic and to eat less, because again, it would less chance of heart disease, less chance of diabetes, less chance of all the other stuff that fatness can cause. Like, so taking Ozempic isn't just about vanity, it's also about health. It's also about being healthy. And so, again, the same people who are demonizing those who take Ozempic are the same people who are out here yelling at fat people saying, you're killing yourself, you're killing yourself, you're killing yourself. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? If I'm fat, then I'm killing myself, and I'm evil, and I'm awful, and I should die. But if I take Ozempic, then I'm evil, and I'm awful, and I should die. There's no way to win as a fat person in the world. There's really no way to freaking win, and it's just, I got way too frustrated in this video. I'm sorry for all the people out there who don't like it when I get angry. I definitely got angry in this video. I'm probably gonna take this video down because, yeah, I don't imagine it's gonna be received well. I don't imagine people are going to like what I have to say about Ozempic, but screw it, I needed to say something, so I had to make this video. Anyways, that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Stay frosty. Bye.